a ghost who never quite fit in.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. You will help them accomplish wonders. It's not an S. On my world, it means hope.
Well, here it's an S. How about
Excuse me.
Come on, Chrissy.
Knock it off.
No.
Let me go.
Hey, leave her alone, man.
Asshole, don't forget your tip.
The story begins with the distant, dying world of Krypton, a planet of breathtaking beauty and terrifying instability, echoing with ancient power and impending doom. Amid its trembling core and collapsing future, a miracle is about to be born, destined to become Krypton's last hope. In a quiet chamber, Lara Lovan gives birth to a baby boy, Kal-El. For the first time in generations, a child is born naturally, not genetically engineered. This child is different. He represents choice, freedom. Two souls stare into the unknown, their hearts heavy with hope. A fragile future glimmers ahead. A legacy begins beneath collapsing stars, forged in love, sacrifice, and defiance. Krypton's core is unstable due to years of overmining natural resources, and the planet is on the brink of destruction. Jor-El warns the planet's ruling council that Krypton is doomed, and he urges them to evacuate or send the Codex, the genetic template of Krypton's entire population, to safety. The council dismisses his plea, blinded by pride. Jor-El knows time is running out. Desperation takes hold as tremors rock the crumbling planetary foundation. Jor-El is interrupted by Zod, radical exile. Though both seek to preserve Krypton's legacy, Zod would rebuild only for the world to him. Surviving passion, executing the council to seize Krypton's fate. Zod tried to convince Jor-El to join him, but Jor-El refused to be part of his madness. As a result, Zod captured him, but all of a sudden, Jor-El Jor-El summoned his ride, Achiraka, and soared toward the Genesis chamber, where Kryptonians are artificially created. He dove into the birthing pool and retrieved the Codex, Krypton's genetic future clutched in his hand. Then, flying back on Achiraka through thunderous skies, he returned home and explained his daring plan involving the Codex to Lara. Using an AI machine, Jor-El embedded Krypton's genetic legacy into Kal-El's cells. He also encoded his consciousness into a command key to guide his son in the future. After speaking with Lara, Jor-El prepared a spacecraft for their baby and set the coordinates for Earth, a distant world with hope. With quiet resolve, he took Kal-El from Lara's trembling arms and placed him inside the vessel. Tears streamed down their faces as they gazed upon their son. Love, fear, and sorrow intertwining in silence. Jor-El activated the command key, and the machine roared. As engines ignited, the chamber shook, echoing Krypton's final heartbeat. Their child's journey to a new world had begun, carrying dreams, legacy, hopes, memories, the spark of Krypton's soul, and its last promise. Zod arrived at Jor-El's home to seize the Codex.
I know you stole the Codex. Surrender it, and I'll let you live.
Zod was hammered by Jor-El and he pleaded to Lara for the Codex, but she launched the ship instead. As the ship began its ignition sequence, Zod suddenly struck Jor-El with a concealed blade, fatally killing him by life. Just as Kal-El's spacecraft was lifting off, another vessel attempted to intercept it but was swiftly shot down by Krypton's law enforcement forces. Zod, captured for his mutiny, was sentenced to exile in the Phantom Zone. Enraged at his defeat, he lashed out, calling them fools, idiots, and blind to Krypton's fate. Without delay, he and his loyal followers were encased in stasis and launched through a portal aboard a prison ship, vanishing into the dark void of the Phantom Zone. As Krypton's core finally erupted, Lara stood in calm silence, her heart breaking, yet at peace, knowing Kal-El was already beyond the stars.
Shouldn't you find refuge?
Meanwhile, Kal-El's ship soared through space and entered Earth's atmosphere. It landed near the Kansas farmhouse of Jonathan and Martha Kent, who found the child and chose to raise him as their own. 33 years later, Clark Kent worked aboard a rugged fishing vessel. The ocean was calm until alarms rang, and the nearby oil rig was in flames. Crew members screamed for help, trapped by spreading fire and thick smoke. Without pause, Clark moved toward danger because even in exile, he couldn't ignore a cry for help. He broke through the burning rig, guiding panicked workers to the waiting helicopter. As a towering structure collapsed toward them, he rushed in and stopped it with raw, unyielding strength. Silence, then memory surged like a tide. Flashback, Kansas. Years earlier, young Clark sat frozen in class. Every clock tick, whisper, and pencil scratch roared in his ears. His eyes darted, seeing bones and muscle X-ray vision spiraling out of control. He gripped his desk. The world was too loud, too bright. Panicked, he hid in the closet, teachers knocked helpless. Then a voice pierced the storm, his mother.
How can I help you if you won't let me in?
The world's too big, Mom.
Then make it small.
Back in the present, Clark stumbled ashore soaked and dazed. He found dry clothes in a nearby village and vanished down a dusty road. A passing school bus rumbled by, stirring a buried memory. Young Clark, bullied by Pete Russell and Lang, calm and brave, defended him. Then screams. The bus veered off a bridge and plunged into the cold river. The world blurred. Screams. Water surged. Clark dragged the bus to shore. One by one, they climbed out coughing, stunned. He dove again, pulling Pete from the depths. Onlookers froze afraid. That evening, Pete's parents came not with thanks, but accusations. Jonathan stood firm. The world's not ready, he said, watching Clark with worried eyes. Outside, Clark heard everything silent and hurt. Jonathan joined him under the stars. People fear what they don't understand, he said. Clark nodded, but someday, they'll look to the skies and you'll be ready. Then Jonathan led him to the hidden spacecraft, the vessel that brought Clark to Earth. He handed Clark a key, explaining it held his real father's consciousness. The metal it's made from, he added quietly, isn't found on any periodic table. Jonathan placed a hand on Clark's shoulder. You are the answer, son, he said softly. Proof we're not alone in the universe. Clark turned away, his voice barely audible. Can't I just be your son? Jonathan stepped closer, his voice trembling. You are my son. You've always been my son. He paused, eyes locked with Clark's. You may have come here in that ship, but it's not where you belong. This, he gestured around them. This is your home. The bar buzzed with noise. Clark worked behind the counter, alert. Soldiers entered, murmuring about a ship buried in Antarctic ice 20 years hidden. At the jukebox, two drunk men grabbed a waitress as she served them. She flinched. Clark's eyes locked on them. He moved.
Whatever that means.
Hey, leave her alone, man.
Asshole, don't forget your tip.
Clark slipped from the bar. Later, the man found his truck mangled, destroyed. Snow tears across the icy plains of Antarctica. A military helicopter touches down at a government excavation site. Lois Lane steps out into the swirling wind, her scarf snapping as she strides forward. I'm with the Daily Planet, she tells the guards. The public has a right to know what's going on here. A stern general barely looks up. Just frozen rocks, ma'am, he mutters. She's shown around, nothing unusual, or so they claim. Lois wasn't buying it. Rumors of a spacecraft echoed. That night, restless, she slipped out with her camera. The sky stretched black. Her shutter clicked until a figure appeared, bare-armed, into the storm. Clark, alone in cold, carved a tunnel into ice with a laser glance. Lois followed, breath sharp, drawn into dark. Buried deep, a ship alien, immense, untouched. Clark stepped inside, an artificial intelligence slowly awakened. Just as he was about to insert the key, a Guardian bot attacked. He inserted the key. A tall, wise-eyed hologram appeared. Clark looked on, puzzled. Meanwhile, Lois stepped into the ship, breath caught in awe. She raised her camera, snapping photos of alien walls, then metal screamed. A Guardian bot spun toward her. Clark heard the commotion and surged in, blasting the attacking robot with his strength. As Lois was injured, Clark healed her using glowing heat vision. Lois found her outside while a helicopter arrived. Clark departed with the ship, vanishing into white. Back in Metropolis, she stormed in, dropped notes. Found someone who could change everything. History. Her editor scanned the files. We can't publish this. Lois's jaw tightened. Her fire remained. If truth mattered, hiding it wasn't the answer. She reached out, sharing what she'd seen. Somewhere, a man was out there not of this world. Deep in the Arctic wilderness, far from the bustling dig site, a spacecraft descends silently into a secluded icy cavern. Inside, Kal-El walks with cautious curiosity. The alien interior glows as he approaches a console. A hologram flickers to life. Jor-El, his father. I am Jor-El, your birth was no accident, the image says. Jor-El's image shimmers in the ship's chamber, surrounded by glowing glyphs and alien architecture that hums with memory. Krypton, he begins, was once a shining beacon of science, wisdom, and advancement. The projection behind him comes alive. A vision of Krypton, a breathtaking planet with crystalline towers and skies streaked with twin moons. The civilization was proud, perhaps too proud. The Kryptonians unlocked the secrets of genetics, manipulating life itself with precision. In the Genesis chamber, beings were grown, not born, with each destined for a fixed role: warrior, scientist, leader, laborer. Ignoring scientific warnings, the ruling elite mined their planet's core for energy. Krypton collapsed under its own hubris. You were born free, Jor-El explains, conceived naturally, without genetic programming. In time, he says, they will join you in the sun. Jor-El showed Cole the Kryptonian suit marked with an S, explaining that on Earth, it symbolizes hope. The scene shifts to Smallville. Lois shows Kal-El's photo to a fisherman, who directs her to the high school. She finds a childhood friend who remembers Clark's quiet strength. At a modest farmhouse, she knocks. Martha Kent opens the door, cautious yet kind. Inside, surrounded by memory, Lois begins to understand Clark. At Jonathan Kent's grave, Clark stands waiting. He turns, voice low. You followed me again. Because I know what you are, Lois said quietly. I know what you can do. And I believe you can save this world, so why are you hiding? Clark looked past her, into the fields that raised him. Then, with quiet grief, he told her the story. A storm, chaos, their dog trapped in the car. Wind roared, thunder cracked across the sky. Jonathan ran to save it, telling the family to stay back. Clark could have moved faster than the wind, but his father raised a hand. Don't. The world's not ready, Jonathan had said with his eyes, and then the storm swallowed him whole. Clark's voice trembled. He died because I let him, because I hid. I could have changed what happened, but I stood still. That choice haunted me deeply, lingering like a shadow I couldn't escape or silence. Lois stepped forward, voice steady and clear. You can't run from what's inside anymore. And as her editor leaned back in his chair, eyes scanning the page slowly and thoughtfully, his brow furrowed with awe and disbelief, heart pounding with anticipation, he whispered, "This will change everything." The screen door creaked open. Martha looked up and froze. Then, breathless with joy, she ran and hugged him. "Clark," she whispered. "I found it, Mom," he said. "I know who I am. I'm proud of you," she said, "but I don't want to lose you." Clark looked at her. "You won't," he said. "I'm staying." The wind stirred the wheat. A boy fallen from the stars had become a man still, her son. Somewhere deep within the military's surveillance network, a strange anomaly appeared on satellite footage, a massive, deliberate object approaching Earth from deep space. Lights flickered, then darkness, a hush fell. Suddenly, across the globe, screens lit up, a voice echoed. A single broadcast, in every language: English, Mandarin, Spanish, Arabic, Hindi, it didn't matter. The message reached all. A voice, unearthly and composed, delivered its warning. "One of our people lives among you. He has been hidden on your world for many years. We have come for him. His name is Kal-El. Surrender him, or face the consequences." Silence followed, then panic. Who was Kal-El? Was he among us now, watching? Lois anxiously discussed the message with her colleagues, uncertain what to do next. Should she call her senior editor or contact the authorities? She was torn. Finally, she dialed her editor. "We need to decide how to cover this," she said. As they spoke, Lois noticed government officials gathering in front of her house. Choppers circled above, black SUVs lined the street, and armed men burst in and capture Lois Lane. Only a priest stood near the altar, startled, yet calm. Clark sat up front, voice low. "They're looking for me, the alien. It's me." Clark paused. "If I surrender, they'll see fear." The priest placed a hand on his shoulder. "Trust must come first." In that quiet moment, Clark made his choice. The next day, Superman arrived at a secure US military facility. No resistance. He was handcuffed symbolically and escorted into an interrogation room. Lois Lane sat across from him. She leaned in. "What does the S stand for?" He smiled faintly. "On my world it means hope." Behind the one-way glass, officials watched in silence. Then Clark glanced toward them. "I see everything." The colonel stepped in. "You're an alien. You could destroy us," Clark replied calmly. "I've lived among you 33 years. Saved lives. You have nothing to fear." Under a grey sky, Superman stood before the descending alien ship. Its hull shimmered. The ramp lowered. Farah and Enforcer Danny appeared. Farah turned. "We're taking the woman too." Lois stepped forward. "I'll go." The ship lifted, vanishing into clouds. Superman handed the key to Lois, instructing her to use it if necessary. As the shuttle reached the mothership, Farah placed an atmospheric helmet on Lois so she could breathe. Once inside, Superman weakened, rapidly struggling in the Kryptonian atmosphere. He coughed violently and collapsed to his knees. Blood dripped from his mouth as pain overwhelmed him. Lois pleaded with Zod to help him. Later, Superman discovered his hands were tied up. Then, Superman found himself in a dream. General Zod stood before him, voice cold and deliberate. "When Jor-El sent the Codex to Earth, I was furious. I killed him." Zod stepped closer, eyes burning. "Our mutiny led to exile. We were banished to the Phantom Zone. When Krypton was destroyed, we returned only to find everything dead." He paused. "But when you activated the key inside the mothership, we located the Codex. This planet is rich," Zod told Superman, "but its people are weak. From their bones, a new Krypton will rise whether they like it or not." He stepped closer, voice growing darker. "Where is the Codex?" he demanded, again and again. "You don't want to share your father's fate, do you?" Lois activated the key. Jor-El appeared in a flicker of light. He adjusted the atmosphere around her, allowing her to breathe freely. Meanwhile, Superman broke free from his restraints. Jor-El guided Lois to an escape pod. Farah tried to intervene, but failed. Jor-El then appeared to Superman, helping him recover his strength. "Listen to Lois," he said. "She has the plan to defeat Zod." With renewed resolve, Superman tore through the ship, flying toward the escape pod. Just before it crashed to the ground, he caught it, rescuing Lois. Searching for Superman, they arrived at the last place he'd been seen, then went to his home. There, they confronted Martha, demanding the location of the spaceship that brought him. They read her mind. Inside, they searched for the codex, but it was gone. Martha in a violent fit of rage.
You think you can threaten my mother? What have you done to me?
Without your helmet, you're getting everything. Get inside. It's not safe.
Roger, Guardians here. Inbound to target. Oh shit!
All Rangers, I need you to engage the targets.
Guardian, this is Batter 01. What about the guy in blue?
I said engage all targets.
A good death is its own reward. For every human you save, we will kill 1,000,000 more.
After the battle, the military stood as Superman emerged from the smoke. Bruised but unbroken, he stood tall. The soldiers lowered their weapons. Something shifted. For the first time, Superman saw Earth's people didn't fear him, they understood. Not a threat, but a protector, a symbol, a friend.
This man is not our enemy. Thank you, Colonel.
Aboard Zod's ship, one of his scientists approached with urgent news. When I analyzed Superman's blood, he said, I discovered the codex embedded in his DNA. Zod's eyes narrowed. To access the codex, he must live. The scientist replied, not necessarily. We can extract it from a corpse. Zod turned cold. Krypton's rebirth no longer required negotiation, it demanded death. Then prepared to retrieve him, he ordered. The room darkened as Zod plotted Superman's demise and the destruction of Earth, along with every living being on it. The world engine began its descent from the mothership to Earth, as ordered by General Zod. Unable to survive in Earth's atmosphere, the Kryptonians deployed machines to terraform the planetary, shaping it into a Krypton-like environment suitable for their kind. The sky roared as fragments scattered across continents. One machine hit the United States, triggering seismic waves. The other struck the Indian Ocean, smashing into the Earth, ripping through cities, igniting. As Earth's destruction escalated, Lynn arrived at the US military base and declared, I know how to destroy the machine. Superman's father, Jor-El, revealed everything to me. She explained that deep within Superman's hidden hideout lay the spacecraft that brought him from Krypton. If crashed into one of the world engines, the spacecraft could obliterate the machine, erasing its core systems instantly. To carry out the plan, they prepared with everything at their disposal. One plane was launched to target the device in the United States. Meanwhile, Superman soared toward the Indian Ocean, racing to destroy the second machine himself. Superman battled the Guardian, pulled into a gravitational vortex, swirling force distorted time and space around him. Jor-El's hologram confronted General Zod aboard the Kryptonian command ship, its image flickering. "Zod," he said, "there's another way humans and our kind can coexist." Zod's face darkened. "I was forged by war. Survival demands purity," Jor-El held firm. "You were forged by pain, but it doesn't have to continue. Let Earth live," Zod snarled and slashed through the projection. The hologram vanished in a flash of light. In the US, people fled in terror as chaos unfolded. Trapped in the magnetic vortex, Superman strained upward and broke through. He reached and hurled him to the ground. As he lay bruised and breathless, a chilling realization struck Lois was in grave danger. At the same time, Lois Lane's team was attacked mid-flight by Zod's army. But before they could be captured, Superman streaked through the sky at full velocity, crashing straight into Zod's heavily armored warship with unstoppable, bone-shattering force.
Miss Lane!
A good death is its own reward.
We could have built a new Krypton in this squalor, but you chose the humans over us. My soul, that is what you have taken from me.
If you love these people so much, you can mourn for them. Don't do this! Never.
Lois ran to Superman and embraced him. Superman closed his eyes, leaning into her as if releasing the burden he'd carried across galaxies. "I had no choice," he whispered. For a brief moment, the world stopped spinning. The universe, bruised and broken, watched in silence as two souls found solace in each other. A satellite plummeted from the sky, crashing near a remote desert military convoy in a cloud of fire and dust. Superman landed beside the wreckage, eyes steely and fists clenched. "No more surveillance," he said. "Spy again, and I'll destroy every satellite you send." He blasted into the sky, vanishing into the stormy clouds. The female officer smirked. "He's kinda hot," she whispered under her breath. The scene shifts to Smallville, where Clark walks and talks with his mother, Martha. They stop beneath an old tree where Jonathan Kent's gravestone rests. Together, they pause quietly, paying tribute. A memory flickers young Clark laughing, sprinting through fields with Jonathan chasing behind, both full of life. Back in the present, Superman and Martha sit together, chatting peacefully, sharing stories, smiling cheerfully, and savoring a rare moment of happiness. Then we see Superman arrive at the Daily Planet to begin his new role as a reporter, where he meets Lois. Lois handshake him.
Welcome to the planet.
Follow or subscribe for more videos.